Cinex 2016. This is the Ignite stage here at Stanford University. First, you're going to hear about life's not fair, dispelling the urban legend of a deserving heart attack victim. Please welcome to the stage Rebecca Pomerleau. Thank you.
It's not uncommon for people who know me or first meet me to proclaim, "It's not fair. This happened to a good person like you, a healthy person like you." Well, the hypnotherapist from the movie Office Space epitomized my image of a typical heart attack victim. Older, overweight, male. But why do we assume that heart attacks discriminate? As a woman who ran collegiate Division I track, always maintained a healthy weight and diet, and never took even one puff of a cigarette, immune from suffering a heart attack? I thought so, and now I have a new heart. 20 months ago, at the age of 34, just 34, I suffered a rare cause of heart attack called spontaneous coronary artery dissection, or SCAD, and nearly lost my life, emergently requiring a heart transplant. These are the faces of fellow SCAD survivors, all active, relatively younger, successful women. The exact opposite of my typical image of a heart attack victim. Sadly, the causes of SCAD are not known, and a leading risk factor is not having any of the typical risk factors for heart disease. We know now that heart disease is not just a man's disease, and women are equally as likely to suffer a heart attack. And awareness is improving. Nearly half of women surveyed in a recent AHA study knew that heart disease was the leading cause of death in women. Unfortunately, only 13% acknowledged heart disease as their greatest personal health risk. So it's going to happen to you, not to me type of mentality. That same survey also found that women who know another woman with heart disease are 25% more likely to acknowledge heart disease as a personal health risk and 19% more likely to talk to their doctors about heart health. This is why it's so important that as survivors, we share our stories to help save lives. Now here's the positive thing of not knowing what causes SCAD. There's no blame game. There's no, well, if only I'd exercised more or eaten more kale and less ice cream. We don't have to wallow in the what we could have done differently, because there is nothing we could have done differently. It was out of our control. Well, this loss of control presents an opportunity as a coping mechanism to focus not on the past, but to look forward to the future, focusing on what we can do. I believe that when restored, we have an obligation to make a difference with our renewed lives. And I choose to make that difference by sharing my story. So how do SCAD survivors cope with this misconception of a typical SCAD survivor, a typical heart attack survivor? Well, we take to the internet searching for answers, but find none. Then we scour social media looking for others like ourselves. Unfortunately, we will likely never meet a fellow SCAD survivor in person. But the number of SCAD topic followers and online support groups is growing exponentially. Digital media can be the avenue, given its global reach, to elevate awareness about little-known conditions such as SCAD, thereby empowering patients to know their risks, know their symptoms, and to seek medical attention at the onset of those symptoms, and empowering medical professionals with the knowledge to make an appropriate diagnosis in a timely manner. These are the titles of just a few stories of SCAD survivors. Do these sound like a deserving heart attack victim to you? Your arteries are pristine. I'm too young to have a heart attack. 2 heart attacks in 2 days, and no one believed me until it was almost too late. Well, many of you are likely familiar with the change curve or the stages of change. As SCAD survivors, we too typically start in denial that we could be suffering a heart attack. In my case, that denial caused me to delay seeking medical attention and likely sealed the fate of my original heart. We then grow angry, knowing that we did everything right to live a healthy life, and reach a low point when we learn that there's nothing we can do to prevent a reoccurrence. No, it's not fair that this happened to me, but life isn't fair. Through sharing our stories, we acknowledge and accept what has happened to us. And as we've heard from other speakers at this conference, that acceptance of our pain, acceptance of our suffering, acceptance of our circumstances is that key enabler to being able to move forward with renewed energy, purpose, and hope in our lives. And this is how I choose to take control of my renewed life. And I encourage you to encourage your patients and your fellow survivors to do just that. Get out there and share your stories. It's my hope that one day the S for spontaneous in SCAD is abolished because we know the causes and we can prevent dissections of coronary arteries. Thank you.